At the end of the school year, we invited all the teachers to dinner. And afterward, the group sat down and spoke with John Merrow.
The notion of Teach for America. We're going to bring these bright young people in. We're going to work their tails off. Is this enough to change a system?
Yeah, I reflected on that, and I think the beauty behind TFA is, in some level, they want you to experience that. I think they want you to see the structural imperfections so that once your 2 years is up, you can do something. It doesn't have to be within the realm of actually being a teacher to impact, educational policy, maybe in New Orleans or in another city, because I carry that with me. And so when I'm thinking about law school, now I have a sense of purpose and direction as far as like what do I want to do with the law, when I become a lawyer or, when I get that law degree.
I think it's interesting that we talk about fixing the system. I think for me, the debate has been what is the system that we're trying to fix? I think on one hand, the school system and the way education is set up is really important, but I think we have to think about it more holistically, and we being all of us, our collective society has to address issues of poverty, very fundamentally, of healthcare, of how we address the other variety of social issues before we can say, oh, well, we're going to fix the schools. Because that's important, that's huge, and I think schools will play an important part in solving or helping to mitigate other social problems, but we can't just say that we're going to fix the school system and everything will be okay.
But can you make a difference?
We can make a difference, yeah.
Us as teachers?
Yeah.
Yes. Not structurally.
Not
right.
But
individually, with individual students?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now that you've been through a year, think back on those 5 weeks of training in Phoenix. How was that? How does that training look to you now?
Silly.
Yeah.
Silly?
Yeah, that's funny. It was a good time.
Go ahead.
The challenges we faced then don't compare to what we face now, pretty much. I complained about 1 or 2 students who were talking too much in my mock classroom. We were just teaching for an hour and a half.
In Phoenix.
And in Phoenix, and that was our first experience as teachers. And my complaints then don't compare to what I'm dealing with now.
You're all nodding your head.
Culturally and academically, as far as the student's background. So my biggest concern in Phoenix was Eduardo's putting his head down, he doesn't feel like talking, and now my concern every day is, can they just be quiet for 30 seconds so I can hear myself think? I just want 30 seconds, that's all I want.
So there's nothing TFA could do to make that training?
I think you can't prepare for the physical and mental burden that is teaching. The first few weeks were just physically exhausting. And Phoenix was hard. It was hard to be there and teach and to do all of the other things we did, but it was not exhausting in the way it is exhausting to be a teacher those first 3 weeks of school.
I look at it like a soldier going to boot camp and they're in a simulated war game. And yeah, it was rigorous and tough, but it can never be like the real skirmish and battles that they're going to face in Afghanistan or Iraq.
So there's nothing TFA could do?
There's some things that they taught that I would never do. I've done, and I saw that it was total opposite effect. Like touch a student to let them know that they're misbehaving. I don't ever touch kids unless I want them to, go crazy. You don't touch kids, at least down here.
The criticism of you guys, of this whole notion of bringing you bright young folks, is that you are learning to teach at the expense of these kids who actually need experienced teachers. The best teachers.
Paul Vallis said something in one of your other videos, and he talked about energy, and I totally agree with that.
Me too.
Because we stay up till 1, 2 o'clock, stay at school till 7 o'clock, working on lesson plans, and that energy, which might not be there if you've been in the system for 10, 15 years, is something that we use as a tool to make positive impacts.
The kids are the only reason we're here. We're not here for the paycheck. We're not here for anything else like that. We're here for the kids, and we're putting our all into it. And there's not much of us left over after that.
I've definitely thought about this and thought, oh my God, would it be better if I'm not here? Am I hurting them? Let alone not helping them. Am I hurting them? But I definitely have had kids come up to me and say, and I know that my peers have also had students come up and say to them, you know, you're the first person to ever see potential in me and tell me I'm worth anything. Thank you for caring. I've never had a teacher think so highly of me before. And sometimes that's all it takes for them to get to like pick themselves up in all of their classes. So we have still definitely made like that impression and made our mark and have done some good. So it's not completely at the expense. Like I agree with you saying that our energy compensates, because we definitely have had a lasting impact on our students for the better.